Okay, guys, so I'm assuming we're live. I wanted to say hi, and we have Joe to replace Dave. Dave had an emergency he had to tend to, so I don't want to. This is still going to be a great panel, and I guarantee everybody will get a lot from it. So we're sorry that Dave couldn't be with us, but we will do it again with Dave. I love talking to Dave. We have a great interaction, and stay tuned for another webinar. So again, thank you everyone for coming today. We've got a great webinar in store. I want to introduce the guests. We want to get right into content because there's so much to cover, but just some little ground rules here is I want this to be interactive. I really, really want people to put their questions in the chat or use the Q&A box, and I'll sort of moderate them. My job here is just to kind of keep the thing going, kind of put questions and answers to, or feed them to the right, most appropriate person, or, maybe it'll just be a free for all and we're all just going to kind of jumble in together, but I'll try to prevent a big mashup. So please use the chat, please use the Q&A. And if you do not get responded to or an answer quickly, put it in there again, because I do want to get to everything. And if we don't get to it, we will go through this and we will answer you by email afterwards. All right. So please, let's make use of this live event and speak up whenever you want. Well, chat up, because we've got you all on mute, so you can't speak. So the first thing I want to do is introduce our panelists, starting with Morgan DiGiorgio. She is my Senior VP Marketing and Sales at Direct Mail 2.0. She's been with us now, 4 years, Morgan? She has worked her way up from a lowly sales manager to the head revenue driver of the organization. So she's got my trust, not only because she can sell, but she is extremely intelligent and she knows how to market. All right. There's so much more to just sales than sales, but there's marketing and there's smarts. And she's going to import some of those things to you and teach you how to make money. All right. She's doing it every day here, so she's going to share it with you. We have Andrew Ettinger, who I've known for, I think, about 4 years. There was a hiatus for a couple of years, but I got to tell you, this guy has always impressed me with his blunt and direct communication. He is a smart guy who knows how to get it done. And I'll give you a little bit of a better, more written thing here. He's the CEO of Best Postcards. I'm sure you've seen him on LinkedIn. If you haven't, you must not be on LinkedIn. He specializes in in-home service businesses and helping them grow their brand, generate leads, and boost sales. He serves over 700 clients in the HVAC, electrical, plumbing, roofing, doors, windows, and more. And his company is growing rapidly and is growing because of his unique way of executing direct mail, which you're going to hear about today. All right. And then, of course, our latecomer here and stand-in for Dave is Joe Manos. He is the Executive Vice President of Mindfire. He has 25 years of executive management and entrepreneurial experience, and he's going to impart his 25 years of experience here in marketing and mail and lead gen for all of you. So I won't read the 6 paragraphs. He's got a bigger resume than all of us combined, so you'll have to take it on my word here. So the first thing we're going to do is Morgan's going to give a little presentation specifically on tips on how to grow your business. That's what you signed up for, and that's what you're here for. So we want to deliver that, which will hopefully invoke some more questions, and they'll go.
Could you try again?
Oh, my Siri is talking to me. Okay, I'll turn her off. Anyways, after that, I have about 15 questions that you guys submitted that I will either interject during this if it's appropriate, or we will take them up at the end and deliver them to the appropriate expert who's on this panel. I did forget to introduce myself. I'm Brad Kugler, the CEO and co-founder of Direct Mail 2.0. Buck stops with me. That's all I'm going to say. So other than let me gum flap any longer, I'm turning over to Morgan. Over to you.
Hey, thanks, Brad. I'm super excited about our webinar today, and I thank everybody for joining us. I know that there's a lot of ways that you can choose to spend your time, so I thank you for spending it with us. We've got a jam-packed webinar. We are going to go over just some high-level content regarding tips to grow your print business. Now, we did send an outflow, and for our most recent registrants, we were asking, what is your biggest challenge in growing your print business? So we will go over just some high-level content, but from there, we're going to segue into a Q&A with our panelists where we can address all of those specific questions that everybody's looking for some expert opinion on. So excited to get started today. You know, I do have quite a bit of experience in business where I was positioned in several leadership roles. I'm a co-founder of a technology-based medical company. And for the last 4 years, as Brad alluded to, I have had the pleasure to work with commercial printers all over the United States where I have been able to assist them with their sales and marketing plans. So I tend to get a lot of insight into what's going on within these organizations. And we work with small mom and pop printers all the way up to some of the largest printers in the country. And what I can say is that for the most part, I know the challenges that we're all facing in the industry right now. And I think that we are busier than we've ever been. We're running as lean as we've ever ran. We have probably some of the gravest challenges that we've had. You know, some historical things are kind of repeating themselves just in different facets. But it's really hard sometimes. And I think that we get blinders on and we don't take an opportunity to really look at the intricacies of our organization and actually run an analysis. Because if we want to grow our business, the first thing we have to do from a very ground level is take an inventory. You know, we need to know what our strengths are. We need to know what our weaknesses are. What is working? What is not working for us? You know, a business that doesn't take an inventory eventually will go broke. And if we are just spinning our wheels and we have no insight into what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, and we're not making changes, then we're not going to be able to grow, right? So that's the first thing. You know, having a good indication of what our opportunities are, right? So once we know a little bit more about our organization and we know what insatiable goods we should be getting rid of and what our strengths are and what we should really be focusing on and accelerating so that we can compound, we'll have a better idea of what opportunities lie out there for our organization and what is a really good fit for us. These are what we're going to want to be contributing the most resources to. But what's very important as well is to know what our threats are. I mean, I think that we're all very aware of the current challenges in the industry, the rising costs, postage increase, paper shortages, labor shortages. But what I really want you to pay special attention to is your competition. You should know everything that there possibly is to know about your competition. You should know what their products are, their services, what their talent looks like, what their unique selling propositions are, how are they marketing themselves. And you need to ensure that you are doing at least bare minimum what they are doing. And then once you know what they're doing, you need to look and see what it is that you can do better. And that's where we need to talk and focus about a unique selling proposition. You know, a lot of the questions that came in through the chat are, how can I differentiate myself, right? How can I set myself apart from ABC printer down the street, right? I'm sick of trying to market and sell my company or grow my company based on price, right? That is a losing battle. So what we need to do is we need to add more value. And understanding what your unique selling proposition is going to help you to communicate that value. And that message should look different for prospects and customers. You know, what is my unique selling proposition? What is it that I'm trying to communicate to my audience so that I can grow my business? Well, it looks a little bit different for prospects and customers. For prospects, why should they listen to you? Why should they do business with you instead of somebody else? You know, a big question that people are asking about, which the panelists are going to drill into a little bit further, is why should I do something instead of nothing, right? Why should I use direct mail as a marketing channel, or direct mail is too expensive, right? So communicating the value of direct mail or print or promotional products or whatever your services or products are that you're offering is very important. Right? These are what your unique selling propositions are that you're communicating to your prospects. And for your customers, you know, what do they love about you? Why do they keep coming back? Why do they keep doing business with you and not looking into who your competitors are? Customer retention is very important, and it's a lot easier to generate additional revenue from existing customers than it is to go out and find a new customer. So making sure that we're taking care of our customers and re-communicating what our unique selling proposition is to them is also very valuable in being able to harness opportunities with them and growing your print business there. So here's a few examples of some unique selling propositions, okay? Faster service, more personal service, okay? When I was talking before, in the first slide about taking an inventory, when I think about taking an inventory, I'm also talking about your talent, or I don't know, maybe your non-talent that you might have in an organization. If you're paying a sales rep eight or an order taker 80 grand a year to just sit back and take orders, and they're not actually going out and they're not generating new business for your organization, and they're not properly servicing your customers, well, that might be an insatiable good. That might be something that you need to discard from your organization and find a better option for you, somebody that's actually going to be generating revenue for your business. Guaranteed on-time completion. Is there something that only your organization includes in their products and services? Is there something that customers or prospects can have exclusivity with you? And I think that Andrew has a pretty good message about that he's going to talk a little bit further, that I think is going to add a lot of value here to this webinar, as he shares in his experience as well. But some services that maybe will go above and beyond the basics as well, like direct mail 2.0. Here at our organization, we have marketing automation platform that layers on different technologies on top of direct mail, so that we can help commercial printers and marketing and ad agencies all over the country improve the trackability of the mail, right? So not just the deliverability of, but the actual response to the mail. Why layering on an omni-channel marketing campaign to improve the response to the mail? Now this is something that you're doing above and beyond just putting print to paper, right? I had a partner the other day that called me absolutely ecstatic because he was prospecting for a new direct mail business. He engaged a prospect. He started talking to them about their direct mail marketing strategy, engaging in a consultative selling approach. They're already working with a different printer. And he started talking to them about direct mail 2.0. Does your current print provider do this? The answer was no, and he was able to successfully secure a 750,000 piece mailing, of which now he has been making that mailing monthly. So hundreds of thousands of dollars of additional print business, just because he engaged in consultative selling and he has something that he's providing above and beyond just putting into paper. Now, not just a product like direct mail 2.0, but I think even just providing a consultative selling approach and actually showing a customer that you care about the results that they're getting from their direct mail campaign is also a unique selling proposition. I can pick up the phone and I can take a print proof and I can say, no problem, I'll go ahead and print that for you. But if the creative is trash and I know that it's going to perform terribly, am I really doing my customer or our organization any value by just generating the sale and running the money? Absolutely not, because when it doesn't perform well, they're not going to come back to me for a reorder. Even if they're the ones that provided the creative, I'm going to get the blame. Direct mail doesn't work, and they're going to put their budget into digital, right? So there's a lot of ways that we can add additional value and generate a unique selling proposition. Now, the last thing here that I want to talk about is making investments. Oh gosh, right now costs are higher than they've ever been. My cash flow is the lowest that it's ever been. And you want to talk about me making investments, right? Well, unfortunately, sometimes we have to, spend money to make money. And there's things that we absolutely cannot afford to not invest in, especially if you want to grow your business. So first thing is marketing. Right? You absolutely, positively have to be marketing your business, your unique selling proposition, what your strengths are. You should be marketing not only to prospects, but also your existing customers. There should be some type of loyalty marketing where you're continuously engaging even your existing customers to be capturing additional revenue streams and also ensuring that they're not out there seeking what other competition is doing, right? So very important to keep building that relationship, not only with your existing customers through marketing, but also through the acquisition of prospects. Your brand, your presence, how you're marketing yourself is so important, because you're not just selling postcards. You're not just selling direct mail and promotional products. You are selling marketing. You are selling leads to your customers where they have an expectation that you are going to drive revenue into their organization. if they are paying close attention to your marketing, which I can assure you that they will be, and the first thing that they are going to look at is your website. So it is so important that your website is doing a stellar job at communicating the value of your organization and putting your best foot forward in what that first impression looks like and showing how well you guys are actually marketing yourselves, right? Because if you are doing a terrible job in marketing yourselves, a customer or prospect isn't going to really have the confidence that you're going to do a good job marketing for them. So your marketing strategy, yes, you should definitely be investing in marketing, but let's make sure that we're doing a very good job. You know, we've had a few different financial challenges, I would say, just recently in the last few years. The first one was COVID. Brutal. Okay, brutal. You know, things really slowed down because guess what happens? People get super fearful. Okay. And the first thing that they want to do is they want to pull into their purse strings and they want to cut marketing. That's the first thing that they want to do, right? That is a code red. That is the absolute last thing that you want to do is cut your marketing, especially in an economic downturn, a recession, anything. Right? Because in all reality, you should be marketing 10 times harder. And also there's a lot of opportunity there, right? So Andrew kind of brought this, you know, Twitter post here to our attention before we came on to the webinar, you know, and I couldn't agree more. You know, Andrew, do you want to maybe expound on this Twitter post a little bit further?
You know, but to the same extent of this Twitter post, I read an article about 4 years ago when starting the best postcards, and it was from Harvard Business, and it said, like, this is a time when everybody is pulling back and when you have to attack. This is when new market leaders are made. This is when you should be spending your money and investing, like we're telling our clients to, invest in your brand, invest in your personality, let people know who you are. This is not the time to hide. This is the time to empower your employees. This is the time for the consumer journey, for it just, this is so right on that if you really want to make a difference, this is the time to step up because the world is meeting nobody halfway.
Sure. Yeah, 1000%. I mean, listen, if the majority of people are, you know, going into that fear-based thinking and they're pulling back on their marketing, think about the opportunity that opens up for you, right? I mean, people aren't going to stop existing and people are going to still need products, services, commerce is still going to go on. And this is a great opportunity for you to go out and actually educate your print customers on the fact that they need to keep marketing. Right? Because this is also giving you an opportunity to give them these opportunities by educating them on what's effective.
Let me interject and give a very basic example that was actually in this tweet, and I'll transition it to printing. If you go to your mailbox and you see 6 or 8 pieces of mail that are marketing mail, and we go through a recessionary time and 20 or 30% of them cut their mail. So now there's only 4 pieces of mail in your mailbox. Now, let's say you're the guy who keeps mailing. All right. Your piece is now only competing with 2 or 3 others versus last month or last year, it was competing with 6 or 8 other pieces. So for the same amount of money, you are controlling a greater percentage of the eyeballs of what's in that mailbox. So to stop marketing and go the effect and reduce your budgets, it is crazy. You're actually getting a discount. You're getting more airtime for the same money. So I'm sure Andrew would agree with that. This is the time to market, not the time to pull back.
This is the time to do direct mail. I mean, people don't get it. It's 80% of the leads that we get, we send to the internet. Like, I know you were hitting on that value proposition before. It's so true. It's like, I don't take a one-time order. I don't sit on my ass and wait for people to call in, be an order taker. I don't take bullshit artwork. Everything with us is inclusive. We don't take sales in the first call. We ask them for their last 2 years customer list. We plot them out on 3D heat maps. We show them where their clients are coming from. We append data to it. We show them how many times they've seen each client. by the time you've added that value added and you've separated yourself, by the time I'm done with that call, which is a week later, they're already sold before I even make a proposition. I never talk about price. And price is one of my best things because I only deal with people who run in perpetuity. And when you accept less and you don't educate and you don't ask the right questions, you don't ask people about their business, you don't ask them what their revenue is, you don't ask them what their percentage of sales against revenue. You sit in your ass and wait for people to call into you. That's bullshit. You know, I get on my ass every day. I write articles, I post on LinkedIn, I post on Facebook. I don't pay for anything. I just open my big mouth and I tell people how it is. It's top-down leadership.
So Andrew, let me show you an example of real world direct mail. I live in a pretty nice area, 13 villages. Here's the only realtor in my area that's using postcards, personalized QR code, just listed. Oh, guess what? This one just sold. Same realtor. And this one just came back on the market at a steal for $900,000. I talked to her the other day. She's the only realtor of 13 that market in our area. There's probably more, but the 13 prominent ones. She's the only one that's using this approach, direct mail, personalized QR code, and Pearl. She's getting 1 to 2 new sales a month from this strategy. You know, find out how much your home's worth at, you know, $800,000 to $900,000 house. What is that? $2 million a month from the only person using direct mail of 12, 13 realtors.
And you know what the great thing about that is, Joe? I just read an article today that 38% of realtors cannot pay their rent in October.
Mhm.
Exactly, because they do it the same way over and over again.
Exactly.
Right. So she's making an investment in marketing where she's seeing the ROI, right? There's so much competition in real estate. Why am I going to work with one realtor or the other? Well, she's establishing a relationship with her audience through direct mail. And
And
she's
she's getting it, excuse me, interruption, but she's getting it both from existing customers she's already sold a home to, as well as new customer acquisition. She's getting the holy grail, both.
yep.
I want to keep us on track here and wear my moderator hat so that we're not all over the map here. I want to circle back to unique selling proposition. I think before you market your goods and services, I believe utterly in the importance of a unique selling proposition. And I think it's important that we give the listeners some better idea on this so they can either develop their own or fine tune their own. Andrew, what is the unique selling proposition for Best Postcards?
You know what? Everybody's empowered. We have no filters. We tell people the honest truth. We don't push the sale. We mail 250 million pieces a year. So we're not desperate for the sale. We include graphics on everything, as many changes as you want. There are no upsells. There's the data and analytics that we provide. Afterwards, we know direct mail's always suffered to get attribution because we're sending people to a website. Nobody's typing in the name of a URL. We're branding people. Unfortunately, we don't get to send mail out and have people buy our products. We get to send mail out. So when they want to buy their products, they think of us and they go to Google and they type in our names and it comes up as a paper lead. So we do matchback reports. We match back every piece of mail, when the person signed up, how much revenue they generated, how much mail they put out, what type of mail they put out. And we do that every 3 months. We also do A/B testing. And none of this we charge for. This is all inclusive. We're gonna look at the mail that the areas that you mail to and go against the areas that you didn't mail to. We're going to compare them. The only difference is they're all getting the same advertising, except A is getting mail. So if you spend $50,000 on A over the course of 6 months, if I show you that A produced $500,000 more in revenue than B, you're a happy camper. I don't need to prove attribution. I need to prove net lift. And that's what you have to be showing your clients because nobody else is being transparent.
Good. All right. That's a valid USP. Morgan, what is our unique selling proposition?
Sure. I mean, our unique selling proposition is that we have the opportunity to layer on, you know, anywhere from an 8 to a 13 layer technology platform onto direct mail so that we can seamlessly track the mail and lift the response around 23 to 46% for just a few pennies per mail piece, right?
But you got to know
Fantastic.
that, Morgan, right? People have to know that. They have to know that when they add layers to your direct mail, when there's multiple touch points, that's what makes it work. And it doesn't matter which part of it worked. It just matters that it worked.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's making people understand that. Nobody knows what the selling point is. Nobody knows what that tipping point is that made someone make the purchase.
Sure.
You know,
That's true.
Yeah, and we have a really unique technology called Lead Match that there's actually a pixel that can go on a website so that when somebody from the mailing list responds, like they will respond to any other marketing channel, like you said, Andrew, by going online, without some kind of way to identify that someone's standing in their living room with a mail piece and going online. A lot of times you're losing that attribution to the mail. You're not showing it. There was a campaign that I like to highlight where there was about 4,800 pieces mailed. They received 17 calls, which is rather lackluster, unless maybe the sales cycle is 200 grand a pop, but it wasn't. So 17 calls, rather lackluster. However, with the pixel, we were able to show that 932 people from the mailing list went to the site, which is an 18% response rate to the mail. Right. Which without technology like that, people are saying, God, I got 17 calls. I don't know if I want to mail again.
drinking the Kool-Aid from the agencies. It's just how it is. It's
right. Exactly.
And so we have to be vocal enough to let people know what's really going on.
Let me get Joe's response to the
voices.
same thing, guys.
Yeah,
Joe, tell me about Mindfire's unique selling proposition, just so we can demonstrate this to the people on the audience.
Yeah, so simply stated, we connect digital to print. And again, we tailor design the connection points, whether it's web, whether it's email, ringless voice messaging, SMS, the myriad of channels, 13 or more, those are tailored designed to what the end state objective of the customer is. If it's lead acquisition, new customer acquisition versus customer base, their database, we'll go ahead and do a deep dive and understand what they're trying to achieve, and then we'll give them the ideal programmatic approach to achieve that objective. And by the way, the one thing that's really important in today's discussion, one and done programs are not going to get the job done in today's world.
Correct.
We're all believers in that.
Getting 3,000 impressions a day of information, like the old speaker commercial on TV, the guy's hair's blown back from all the information, the volume. You need to have the right ongoing nurturing conversations with your target audience. And that's, and serving up content as part of that journey of education. I'll tell you, we started that many years ago, and it is one of the major reasons that just about everybody knows about Mindfire, and those that want to be our customer are our customer. So it's all about the right channel, the right time, and the high value engagement.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. So then I'm going to start. We've got a bunch of questions here. We've got some coming in the chat. I'm sort of trying to manage the process here to keep it relevant. We're not jumping all over the place. The first question I'm going to give to our panelists here is from Jeff Bach. How do I differentiate myself from my competitors? All right, Morgan, I'll let you kick that one up first.
Sure. I mean, we've already spoke about a few ways here on the webinar that you can differentiate yourself, but, just to expound a little further, you need to find out what your unique selling proposition is, whether that's, a consultative sales approach, whether that's a product like Mindfire or a product like Direct Mail 2.0, but we need to be doing something above and beyond just picking up the phone and taking a print or a promotional product order and running that through. We have to be adding more value for our customers.
Good. Okay, I've got another one here. This is the marketing stuff is a lot of questions. I've got Steve Gadu and June Valenzuela that have almost the same thing. Give me some effective ways to go about obtaining new customers. What are the best methods? And this is from Steve for new customer acquisition. Drew, you want to give your input, and we'll circle around because there's no one single way to do this.
So, I mean, obviously networking, getting involved with groups and sponsoring events. I don't really do the huge shows, but I do the boutique shows where we're major sponsors and people have to talk to us because there's only 8 people in the room. Also, I'm very vocal on social media. I try and become an authority in the field where people can ask me questions, or I can just spit off whatever I want to rant on the given day. But everything that I say makes people think more about the services that we offer. I never talk about direct mail. I only talk about marketing. Build yourself up as an authority and people will come. And the other thing I do is to the effect on spending money. We spend $500,000 a year on taking Bibles to certain industries and paying for them to get polybagged and putting an 8.5 by 11 in front of the cover. And we do it every single month. And it's exactly what we're telling our clients to do. You need to mail every single month. You need to build a brand for yourself because nothing's going to work one time.
100%. And Joe, do you have a response to that? Well, how are you guys acquiring
Absolutely.
new customers?
Yep.
What's your...
So I would support everything everyone just said, but my coaching tip of the day would be educate for free. Many years ago, when I first joined Mindfire, almost 18 years ago, the first thing we did is we created a monthly coaches corner. And I would send out a ton of invites to customers, prospects, associations, and we would just pick a couple topics and get some guest speakers like Andrew and other customers and friends, and we would just start educating for free. Our emails that would go out on a weekly basis, we'd say, hey, are you facing this challenge, finding new customers? Visit our personalized site, download our Getting to First Base in 5 easy steps. The more you educate, guess what? You start to find people pay attention. Before you know it, they're reaching out to you and saying, hey, Andrew, could you help me? I really like what you're sharing for free. Could you help us maybe? And Andrew says, yeah, let's set up an appointment, have a conversation. Businessmen and women are smart people. If you show them the way, more times than not, they'll go to your doorstep, knock on your door and say, can you help me?
Correct. I love it. Morgan, how do you acquire new customers?
I mean, we have a lot of success, obviously, with our webinars. We put a lot of attention on our marketing. We use direct mail. I mean, we practice what we preach. We use direct mail for our marketing. We use the power of repetition. It's never just a one and done. So we typically have multiple drops on our direct mail, and we use our platform to layer an omni-channel platform where we're repeating that exact same message that goes out in the mail. But I also think that there should be a lot of emphasis placed on the utilization of a sales team. One of the things that I wanted to touch on a little bit further about something that's important to invest in is talent or sales team. I was speaking with one of my partners the other day, was telling me about how his revenue is so down, and he was telling me this whole sob story. He basically has this, relationship with this one customer where he generates the majority of his business. And I said, man, you need a sales rep. You need somebody out there that's pounding the pavement, that's picking up the phone, that's dialing for dollars, that's trying to generate revenue for your organization. And he tells me, oh, I can't afford it. It's like, you can't afford not to. I mean, you pay a sales rep, what, $35,000, $45,000 a year base, and then you put them on a commission so that they're thirsty and they're willing to go out there and they're incentivized to make money. So what, $750 a week that you're paying somebody? I mean, in my organization, I want to see about 5 to 8 times their income driven into our organization. I mean, it's an investment that makes a lot of sense to me because we cannot do everything on our own, and we need to invest in talent and the right people that are going to help grow our organization.
Thank you, Morgan. That's a perfect segue to kind of move away from the marketing at this point. Before I jump into marketing, I do want to answer Randy Beck and same with Carrie Clark they had a similar question and Randy's question was, how do you get people to reply to the calls and the emails? All right. I'm going to take this with some of my own experience of 30 years in business. I still believe that if you can see and talk to someone, the personal relationship is the best. A Zoom even is better than a phone call. Okay. A phone call is better sales than an email. But the problem is we've gotten disconnected and people don't answer emails, and they very unusually answer their phone unless they're calling you. So the response part of it is difficult. You have to give them a reason to respond. And this leads into Carrie's question about live events and networking. I feel that, you know, obviously it's more expensive, but if you can do a live event, and I'd call a Zoom like this a live event, in all honesty, you're going to become more real to those people, and they're going to feel a connection, hopefully, and drive that relationship forward. So I wanted to give you that response and kind of hold moving on. And I want to move on to there's lots of questions about staffing and people. This seems to be a recurring issue in today's economy. Here's one from Thomas. Thomas asks, hey, with an aging workforce, I think this is more associated with print, how do you recruit young talent into this industry? All right. Andrew, I'm going to defer that to you. You're younger than me and you're in the print industry. So what do you have to say for that?
I mean, if you have a good organization, you have a good culture, and, you know, like our company is set up with profit sharing. All our salespeople make the same amount of money, but at the end of the year, they get profit sharing. We have 401k matches. We pay their insurance. You know, I know I'm going back on something that you just skipped over, that you said, you know, how to get people to answer our calls. We don't make outbound calls. We've created a brand where people call us, you know, and we get 100 leads a month that we're able to find that about 70% of them are qualified people who want to do a campaign for 6 months or more and are invested in it. And like you mentioned before, Morgan, we offer exclusivity in those areas. And we've created that system. So if you create the culture, people will come and people's friends will know about it. It's just, if you're looking for somebody to go out in this day and age and just make phone calls and just do emails, nobody's going to succeed. You know, there has to be that something extra that you're doing, you know. I'm such a big proponent of you being your brand. Excuse me, I have my brat yelling at me. Karen, please, I'm on a webinar.
No problem. I'll defer to Joe at this point. Now, Joe, you've been in the business game for a couple decades.
Yep.
What is your stance on how to attract and keep good employees?
Yeah, I think it's all about passion. You know, when you're passionate about your organization, you know, other people want to be associated with that passion, you know, what's going on. So that's number one, always be talking to your employees, to friends, associates, get introduced to young people, share the vision, the story. Print can be damn sexy if you know what you're doing.
So let me ask you, that's exactly, I think, what a lot of our audience is having an issue with. I've got a big old 25-year-old web press, and maybe I bought a variable data printer, and am I going to go to the local ice cream shop and everybody, and I'm going to say, I can print your flyers for you? Does that sound like something that a millennial wants to do getting out of college? How do you make that sexy?
Yeah,
How do you draw people to that?
Yeah, so you start talking about the data, you start talking about all the different ways that we connect through communication in today's world, which print is communication. And so then we start talking about the new age, the new opportunities to start to build the momentum that we're trying to seek with a younger generation in our organization. You know, and I might go to a local school. I might, like I said, introduce some of my team members, young college age students into the organization and paint a picture of where they can go. Because again, print done well is damn fun. But if you're just going to sell traditional print in the same way, oh, we got the best quality, the fastest delivery, the fastest turnaround, the lowest price, no young kid's going to want to be a part of that. And believe it or not, in today's world, there's still printers that sell that way. And so you need to paint the picture of, oh, by the way, we're going to connect the dots. You have to get this printing to your customer. You have to meet their varied needs. And like I said, print can be damn sexy if you know how to present it properly.
Yeah, 99% of people have to touch it, feel it, look at it before they throw it out. 17-day shelf life. That's a fucking billboard in someone's home. You know, like, how do you not get over that? You're getting 150,000 emails a day, and then you get this postcard that has a 40% higher recall factor. 75% of millennials prefer to get direct mail than any other thing. It's white noise out there. We should be jumping all over this right now. And that's
you know,
the problem.
Brad-
People aren't.
Yeah, and Brad, you know, one of the fun things I do with marketing executives all the time, and this is how you make print sexy, but, you know, I've got the marketing executive says, oh yeah, we're spending, and again, we do this as well as part of our platform. We're spending $10,000 a month on digital ads and I got 1 million impressions this month. I go, whoa, man, that's amazing. And then I go, but let me ask you, how many of those impressions actually purchased your service this month? And they go, I don't know, that's the big disconnect. And then I go, you know what? If you start doing some of the things that we're going to work with you on, I'm going to be able to show you exactly how many conversions you got from the direct mail piece. Now, which do you want? They want the conversions every time. So again, it's all on how you approach the challenge or the opportunity. But I will tell you, data is damn sexy right now. And being able to show the data conversion from those 1 million impressions you started the month with.
Sure.
I think these are great points. I also want to draw anybody that's on the webinar who has not looked in the chat. There's people injecting some great points, some even better than we're talking about here. So please look at Alex Saunders makes a great point. Joanna Gore makes a great point. Print can be sexy. There's a lot of technology that can be done to print to make it stand out. And guys like Andrew know how to do that. So print is not a boring, 60-year-old white guy's game. There is new stuff going on with new technology, and it is not yesterday's news. It is not going extinct. If anything, it's returning with these new technologies. And you as a printer or an employer or an HR manager has to impart that into the recruits. All right. So please do not settle into the age-old think that print is dead. Print is a bunch of old dummies that are waiting to retire. That is not true. Okay. It is transitioning to a new generation. So, all right, let's move on. This is also related to that. Oh, Morgan has to say
I just
something.
wanted to say something, a couple things, when we're talking about how do we get somebody to respond to our email or phone call? Well, I think that like Andrew was talking about, it's a little bit about attraction. First of all, who the hell are you? An email shows up in my inbox. I get maybe 40 or 50 of them a week about, hey, can we schedule a call? I have absolutely no idea who you are, what you do. I'm a busy executive. I don't have time to read a book. So if you're doing a good job of marketing yourself and getting, creating a brand and a presence for yourself in the industry, I'm already going to have my antenna up when I receive an email from you about, oh, maybe this was something that I wanted to look a little bit further into. But your messaging needs to be on point too. Don't send me a book. I'm not going to read it. I'm going to delete, whatever it is. Like, you need to get my attention somehow. It better be valuable. You better tell me what that value is and why I'm going to take the time, to read that email or answer that phone call or continue the conversation. And, we have to do a very good job at doing the same thing for our organization to be attracting the new talent. Have you been, sign yourself up for awards to see if you can get awarded for best place to work, pay close attention to company culture, offer good work-life balance, invest in automation so you can streamline processes and make your employees' jobs easier so that they're not completely stressed out. There's just a lot there that we can be doing to be making our organization more attractive, to be attracting, these younger generation potential employees. And, I've been reading a lot lately also about some of these print organizations implementing apprenticeship programs, because I think it's a little easier to attract sales reps or people that might be more interested in marketing. But, I know my partners need people that are going to run their presses, and people that they need staffing in that regard. So look into some of those apprenticeship programs that some of these print organizations are starting to implement as well.
Great answers. And I'm going to go right into the next question from Matt Custer. And I'm going to give this to Andrew because this is more of an operational thing. And I know that everybody gets beaten down into the minutia of, and here's the question, how do I get the work done that I need to get done on tighter budgets and less staff? Everybody's pressured with staff and budgets. How do you deliver a good product under those pressures? Andrew, you want to communicate on that?
Is that from a company standpoint?
Yes, you as a print a print marketing company owner, you get asked, I'm sure, by your customers that they expect the world. And if you're short-staffed or what happens when your margins are squeezed? What do you do? I mean, to me, raise prices. I don't know. I mean, what do you do?
I mean, 80% of your business comes from 20% of your clients. Get rid of the bad clients. You know what I'm
Great
saying?
answer.
That's all I can really say to that. And I know I have diarrhea of the mouth and I go off on tangents, but Morgan makes such great points. Anybody who's not using LinkedIn is missing the entire ball. You want to send an email to somebody, take a client that you already have, get friends with them on LinkedIn, see who their mutual connections are, write an email personalized to that person, and in the subject box, Steve Smith. Like, I work with Steve Smith. This is what he does. He does great for me. These are the services that we offer. I'd love to help you. It's an inferred referral.
Mhm.
Like, forget about this cold emails they don't even know what you do, or they don't know what business you're in, or they don't know what your company's about. Write 5 emails a day that are personalized like that, and I guarantee you at the end of the week you'll have 10 leads.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I couldn't agree more. Honestly, the point you made about the 80-20 rule, 80% of your customers, 20% of your customers, 80% of your business, everybody has a pain in the butt customer who basically brings in a small fraction of the revenue, but takes up a disproportionate amount of employee and production time and materials and resources.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that we need to become buttholes and rude, but you know what? Let them go somewhere else. Introduce them to your competition.
The introduction call sets up the tone of the whole relationship. And
Right.
if you find that somebody's going to be a douchebag, or you find that somebody's going to be a wise ass, or he's going to ask you every month or question you every month, this didn't work, this didn't work, this didn't work, that's not your client.
Mhm.
That's not your client. You need somebody who believes in your process and then signs up and goes the long term.
Yep.
Those guys are gonna it's also 80% of the people take up your time. You know what I'm saying? It's just work with people who are dedicated to the process.
And there is enough business out there. I'm guilty of this myself. It's you have a fear of firing a customer because of the scarcity. How am I going to replace it? I'll tell you what, you fire that customer, and I'm not talking about a big dramatic, fireworks and brimstone. I'm just saying, listen, I think that you'd be better served by someone else. I cannot obviously accommodate your needs. And then that additional time and resource and negative energy that has left your business, you will find a better customer. You'll have more time to do it. You will not be as upset, and you will find that other customer. So, and again, I'm not advocating for us to go and burn down our customer base, but you move on to the ones that are profitable, that are not causing you an over expenditure of resources.
Mhm.
Anyone else want to expound on that? I love that Andrew brings these things up. They're a little bit controversial, and then I feel comfortable with expounding on it. So thank you again, Andrew, for.
And I'm sorry for the language. I believe
it's
in
all
not
right.
having a filter and coming from the right place and being transparent.
Listen, you speak the truth, and it's needed, so thank you. All right.
To that point,
Yeah,
and
go ahead,
just real
Joe.
quick, if I can, since managing our customers is a big part of what I do with my team. I think as long as you have open, honest communication with your customers, there's no harm, no foul. If they're treating you poorly, well, then shame on us as a company for allowing that to happen. You just have to say, time out. We don't talk to you like, our company doesn't talk to you like that. We don't set these crazy expectations. We need to work as partners. And then if the relationship's not working any longer, then you say, you know what? Just be honest. Say, hey, it's obvious you're not seeing the value and the love from us. So you'd be better served to find another partner that can help you. That shouldn't be our end game. We should always have the right processes in place that allow us to manage difficult customers successfully. But sometimes it's just impossible. Just be honest, open with them. Set fair expectations, and it goes both ways. They have to get you the job, in enough time to complete it successfully, and they got to get us the assets so that we can do these wonderful marketing programs for them in the 3 or 4 weeks we told them it's going to take to get it built out, not in 1 week. So it's just be open and honest.
100%. And I want to, obviously, you guys have all heard of a company called Microsoft. And many years ago, when Bill Gates was still running it, and Jim Ballmer, or I forget his first, Steve Ballmer, I'm sorry, they implemented a annual cut of the bottom 10% of their employees. Okay. And I know I've shifted back to employees, but the same thing goes for customers. If you are constantly removing the low hanging fruit or the biggest underperformers, it's a benefit to the organization, and it's a benefit to the customer base. All right. You're leveling up every time. The stress level in the organization, the confusion and chaos melts away when you do that kind of thing. So it's another tactic that's been written about in MBA programs and business books. This is not a radical thing, but eliminating the bottom 10% of your customers and the bottom 10% of your employees is almost a religious experience in some companies. And don't be afraid to do that. All right. I'm going to move on to Christina Babylon has a question from Strategic Factory. How do I educate customers on the importance of print as it relates to their branding and marketing? I'm going to let Morgan take off with this one. And I think the viewpoints of each person would be helpful here. We're down to the final 10 minutes, so let's try to keep it brief.
Sure. I mean, this is where we're utilizing a consultative selling approach, but I think that it all first starts with our marketing. There's so much information out there right now that is showing that we are achieving higher than ever response rates to the direct mail marketing channel. It's out there. We just need to harness it and recommunicate that to our customers and educate them on what is working right now. Like Andrew's talked about, having those conversations when we have a prospect and talking about what their goals are and what are they trying to accomplish, and showing them how we can use direct mail as the vehicle to help them accomplish that. It's all about our marketing and sales strategy.
Good. Andrew, would you like to comment on how do I educate my customers on the importance of print as it relates to marketing? This is your religion, man. So
this is it. If anybody can see anything with me, I might have a loud mouth, but the passion, look at what pay-per-click, you're buying your leads. It's social media. If you were tied to Facebook or Twitter right now, where would you be? You're buying your leads. Like, if nobody went into business to rely on somebody else's algorithm or proprietary method or 10,600,000 direct response or digital people, it's just a great time to plant the seeds and stop taking the shortcut, because direct mail is planting the seeds now for ROI today and results tomorrow. We haven't been canceled by the woke culture. If anything, a lot of the other social media platforms have been. That's not to say that layers aren't the most important thing in the world. I am the biggest proponent of layers, and I think people should be trusting people like Brad and Direct Mail 2.0 with putting the layers on it, because I don't do that. But I suggest to them that they go get their layers, because once again, I don't know who's going to drive that final sale to you, but people need the brand. They can't just buy.
Good. And I'm going to alter that question to Morgan next. I have Jay Scheisel. Forgive me if I butchered your name, but his question is very similar. If your customers, prospects, and community only view you as a printer, what are your thoughts on how to change their mindset to see you more as a marketer and bringing a complete solution?
Sure. This is where you need to position yourself as a trusted advisor to your customers. Are you going above and beyond just asking them, what paper stock they want and how many pieces they want to mail and, what price per piece you can get them? This is really where we need to be asking them, okay, Mr. Customer, what is it you're trying to accomplish? What are your revenue goals? This is the response rate that I'm getting to direct mail. If I do 3 drops, I can increase your response to the direct mail another 1%. These are the results we're getting from our omni-channel direct mail campaigns. I can show you the attribution. I can show you who's responding. We can put them into a marketing funnel and continue to hit them until they convert. Talking about something above and beyond just the print to paper. And I'm going to go back to it and go back and hone in on your website. Because if I go to your website and all I see is this little one page and it looks like a kindergartner put it together and it doesn't talk anything about, you know, marketing solutions or how you're adding value, and it's just talking about, you know, a few little things about print, then nobody is going to look to you like a trusted advisor for marketing solutions. You are going to have to start positioning yourself in that regard, presenting yourself in that regard, putting on webinars, getting on LinkedIn, and creating your brand as a marketing solution service provider. You have to create that.
Thank you. That's words of wisdom, and I love it. And there's a similar question, and I'm going to let Joe and Andrew. So when there's just a general lack of demand for printing at all, how do you have that conversation that interests someone in actually printing versus doing digital or something else? Joe, why don't you start? And I want to hear Andrew's answer right after that.
Yeah, so I always start with the end in mind. You know, all the conversations, I'm sitting side by side with printer sales reps in front of their biggest brand customers. And, you know, I just simply ask them, hey, what's the number one challenge you're trying to solve for today? What's killing you guys or gals? And they'll tell you. And then if we can help them, we work backwards and we show them a solution, because at the end of the day, it's showing the proof cases of how you're going to transform the results they're achieving or solve for the problem. Let me give you an example. One of the big questions in this webinar was supply chain challenges. And one of my former customers that's now back with us, killing it, he sat through a QR code webinar with me. He had a challenge. He couldn't get 15 million window envelopes. After learning about innovative direct mail solutions, he went back to the customer, redesigned the solution for his customer rather than using window, using an example like that. He got his largest single sale in his 30-year career by designing a better solution for his customer to achieve their key objectives. I could go on and on for the next 30 minutes about how we did that. But his largest single sale, print sale in 30 years, because he took a problem and he gave him a better mousetrap for moving forward long-term. Over 15 million direct mail pieces as a result of that solution. So for all the printers on the call today, there's a million ways to help you grow.
Fantastic. And Andrew, why print? Why should people print? If you're sitting in front of a guy and he's like, I do digital, I do social, why do I need to print?
Because you differentiate yourself from everybody else who's not doing it. Own the mailbox, own the home. There is no lack of demand. It's getting in front of people and being able to talk about your product, show a value added, and have passion about it.
Sure.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. All right, so we're in the last 2 minutes of this. I want to give each of you three about 30 seconds or so to kind of wind down and preach. All right, Mo, we'll start with you. Anything you want to tell anybody on?
Well, you know, I just have kind of like, you know, one last comment I want to make. And I know that I like that Joe brought up the supply chain issues. So unfortunately, the challenges with paper are very real, right? But I think with every problem, there's a solution. I've had a lot of resources reach out to me, of which I have passed along to some of our print providers. But unfortunately, sometimes it seems that they're a little bit closed-minded when it comes to utilizing some of these resources, even when they have references from different partners of mine that have used them. And it's like, gosh, I need paper. But, you know, the procurement manager just doesn't want to use a resource that they're not comfortable with. And the other thing, too, is that, you know, we had a partner recently that came back to us that one of their customers was actually telling them that they don't want to use direct mail as a marketing channel at all, or maybe they can't fulfill some of their print orders because they don't have the paper. And we do have opportunities at Direct Mail 2.0 where we can run a digital only campaign to the list. Then with our lead match pixel, actually identify who the website visitors are to build you one of the most viable mailing lists that there are. Like, there are no better people to market to than people that are literally on the website raising their hand and telling you, hey, I'm interested. And this is how he was able to now create a mailing list and get the customer to start mailing again. So, you know, there are solutions out there. We just need to be a little bit more open-minded.
All right, Joe, thank you, Morgan. We call that direct mail retargeting, by the way, in case it needs a name. Joe, what are your parting words to the audience here in terms of how to grow their business or expand?
Yeah, first of all, you have to have great self-promotion marketing for your company. If you need help and ideas on where to begin, reach out to me. I do it 24/7 with our customers, and many of them are growing. Second, you need to be an innovator with your customers, always bringing new innovative ideas to help them achieve their top challenges. You'll be amazed how much revenue results from that. Third, most of the printers on this call need to do some introspection and look at their sales organization, because in today's day and age with all the solutions, there's absolutely no reason that every printer in America shouldn't be growing their companies year over year. So if you want some help and guidance on that, reach out to me. I've been building successful companies for 40 years, and I've got a few ideas, no charge. I give it away free because smart people come back and want to do business with Mindfire.
Fantastic. Drew, how can everybody be as successful as you in the print business?
Direct mail is hot, and if you don't believe in it, nobody else is going to believe in it. My people are seeing results, and 95% of our clients run off contract in perpetuity, and they're not doing it because I'm handsome, so just be real and look at yourself in the mirror and know that it's top-down leadership and think outside the box. And this isn't an audience for me where I'm selling my services. If anybody wants help, we need more voices in the industry. We need more people getting on and speaking and talking. I don't need to be the only person who's talking about direct mail or talking about marketing. Get yourself out there. Do what you're not comfortable with. That's what I did. I was the worst speaker in the world, but now I do videos all the time. And it is so far out of my comfort zone, but it's made such a difference.
Right. These are fantastic points, guys. And it really is a mindset and a passion. Print is not dead. You know what's dead? Email is dead. You checked out the stock price of Facebook lately? There's a business that needs a turnaround. So do not think that your print business is dead. Okay. You have to get to work with a passion and an idea that you have a product that people want, and it will be effective. It will work. So that being said, we got about 7 or 8 questions we did not get to. I like to keep this on time. I will put these together in a document and circulate it to our experts on the panel here, and we will send it out with the recording on this within a few days. But thank you very much. It was a pleasure. We will do a follow-up. And if you still have questions, you have the emails here on the slide. Email us your questions. We want to help. We want to give back. All right, guys?
Thanks,
So thank
guys.
you very much.
Brad, thanks for giving us
Great.
the opportunity.
Bye-bye.
Great one. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.